Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gwen and today I'm going to be doing a tag video that is from Bree from Loc'D Booktician. It's part of her Black-oween read-a-thon. Now I know the last video I also did a tag, but my life has turned a little bit upside down and I only can do a really simple video today. Don't worry, next week's video is going to be my review of all the books I read in October. This tag is called the Spider Web Book Tag. First question is, name a book with a spooky cover. The one that came to mind for this was Gideon the Ninth's cover, which, I'll just put it closer for you guys. It's gorgeous. It's not that it's really spooky, but it's more necromantic and beautiful. So the next question is, do you prefer to read at night or in the morning? And I am someone who's very versatile. It kind of just depends if I'm in a reading mood. I have noticed that I do read mostly at night due to the fact that the rest of the day I was doing work or I was doing other things that aren't quiet, basically, that need more of my attention than just reading a book. So I guess nighttime is my preferred time to read. Third question is, name a book that has more twists and turns than you could count. Because I don't read a lot of scary books, this is not a usual thing in most of the books I have. The most twists and turns for me in a series was the Malazan Book of the Fallen. It's like every book teaches you something new about the world and then you're like, okay, so that's the new canon. And then you go to the next book and you're just like, okay, so now this person has this and this. And it just kept on building upon itself, but also what you learned maybe about a certain character was almost reversed entirely because you got new information later down in the 10 books. So that's the one that's closest. It's not necessarily all within one book with all of these twists and turns, but throughout the series, I think it's the most I've ever read where I got some whiplash. The fourth question is, name a character that was affected or died from a potion or from a poisonous bite. I had a little bit difficulties figuring out, and then I was like, oh my god, the Witcher series. So in the first, I believe the first short story in this book, Geralt takes a potion to see at night so that he has better night vision. He uses a lot of them. Witchers do a lot, and he also says that if a regular person were to take any of these potions, they would most likely die from them. The fifth question is, name a non-malicious spider in a book. And the only one I could figure out was Charlotte's Web. And even then I can barely remember the plot of that book. It was such a long time ago when I read it. But I think the whole point was to save the barn so that Charlotte could keep her home. I hope that's the plot of that book because that's what I remember. And I don't remember her being very, very mean. Number 6 is, when you do think of spiders, what book comes to mind first? Once again, it's not just a book, it is a series or part of a world, which is Middle Earth. So Shelob is the first that comes to mind, along with her descendants. If you know a little bit about the history of Middle Earth, you will know that Shelob was she was created, and her little disciples, her little younglings, were the ones that were in Mirkwood. So The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings kind of merge in that way with the telling of spiders and the creation of spiders. So yeah, that is the series that comes to mind when I think of spiders. Okay, the next question, number 7, is spell out spider with the title of books that you have, and you can either have the books or not have the books, and it asks us to do it in 30 seconds. I am not going to do that again. Timing really makes me nervous. And also, when I was selecting these books, it did take me a good 3 minutes to find them, and I still don't have one letter. So for S in Spider, I went with The Stone Wielder by Ian Cameron Esselmont. So Esselmont wrote 6 books during the time frame when Erikson was writing the first original 10 for the Malazan Book of the Fallen, and a few of these intersect with the timeline, and 4 or 3 of them are after the timeline of the main 10 books. Also, I don't want to give what happens in this book because you will get spoiled for a lot of things that happen in the main series. So that's why I'm not going to be telling you guys anything about this book. For P, it's Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan. I've talked about this book recently, recently meaning this summer when I read the trilogy. It's guns with magic. So if you're looking for an exciting, fast-paced fantasy trilogy to read, I'd highly recommend reading this one. So with I had a lot of trouble, and then I realized that I could pull from a stack of books that you guys never see. So this is Manifest's publication. Every year they do a International Photography annual book, and this was the 5th one, and I applied one of my images, or maybe multiple, I can't really remember anymore, of my photographs, and so my image is in here. But that's also why it fits with I. So for D, I picked The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. I don't think I need to talk about this book at all. I loved it, 5 stars. I cannot wait for The Burning God, but also I don't want to talk about it because it's the second book in the trilogy, so I'd be spoiling it. E is the letter that I do not have any titles of, where the title starts with E. So for some odd reason in my brain, I was like, isn't there a book named Ever After or something like that? If there is, I'll put it here. My other worry is that Ever After might actually be a movie and not a book. So hopefully E works out for me in editing. If not, oh well. So for R, I picked The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. If you have not read this book yet, you should if you really like fantasy. It's a revenge story, but also changes into possibly the end of civilization for this group of people. And I can't wait for the second book that is coming next month. Okay, the last question is name a Stephen King novel that either scared you or will scare you. So here's the thing. I don't think I ever plan on reading a Stephen King novel. I don't know many Stephen King novels. So if I were to be afraid by one, it would have to be paranormal-esque, because I really don't like ghosts. I cannot think of anything, so I apologize. So that is it for this tag. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you Bree from Loc'D Booktician for making this tag, and actually all the other tags for this read-a-thon. I couldn't participate in all of them, but I did want to participate in at least 2. So again, thank you so much for creating these. As always, linked down below in the description are links and petitions and donation sites for the Black Lives Matter movement, along with other pressing matters in the world. There will be links down below to give money to places in Nigeria for ending SARS, for those that are protesting and continuously protesting every day. Along with all of those links are my links if you'd like to follow me on social media anywhere else. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!